Good morning, dear students. Now today we will discuss about the first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics is also known as the law of conservation of energy. And we all know what is law of conservation of energy, right? So, what is law of conservation of energy? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to another. It can also be stated as total energy of the universe remains the constant. Universe, that means we are considering now system plus surrounding. So whatever is there in the observation, that means it is in the reaction, and apart from the reaction, surrounding is termed as the complete universe, right? In still other word, the first law of thermodynamics can also be stated as the energy of system that is isolated from its surrounding is constant. The energy of a system which is under observation, it is kept isolated. That means it is thought it is away from the surrounding and is constant. So here, for the isolated system, the exchange of matter or energy is not possible, because if we say that energy of system is isolated, it means it is away from the surrounding and it is constant. When we think that it is constant, then there is no exchange of matter as well as energy. So for isolated system, energy is always considered as constant. But the theoretical evidences of first law of thermodynamics is not at all there, but experimental proof is there. And why it is considered the experimental proof and why there is a need of the first law of thermodynamics here? Because if even a small engine or if even a small pencil cell, or we can say fuel cell, car battery, right? If anything is to be constructed, then 100% efficiency is not possible. Why 100% efficiency is not possible? Because there is always certain energy loss by the system to the surrounding, because they depends on different factors like pressure, volume, temperature, and along with the temperature, heat. So all together with all these factors, when the reaction has to be carried out in a system, then definitely there is certain loss of the energy to the surrounding, and so 100% efficiency is not at all possible, right? So as per Joules, who already conducted experiment on water by mechanical work as well as electrical work, in both the cases, to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius, work done needs constant energy, and that energy is 4.186 kilojoule. So James Joule has conducted the experiment. In the previous video also we have discussed this. Electrical work and mechanical work he has carried out. But when the series of the practical, when he has carried out by the electrical and mechanical work, he then found out that for 1 degree Celsius increased temperature for a definite amount of the substance, the energy which was needed, that is 4.186 kilojoule. So in any chemical reaction, first the old bonds break and new bonds takes place by the support of certain energy. That means certain energy is required, then and only then the chemical reaction takes place. So old bonds break, it means the reactant will start reacting and new bonds is produced. That means the product takes place. Once again here, the Joule's experiment is again discussed by the electrochemical process. So decomposition of 1 mole of water by the electrochemical process is taken in electrochemical cell, where 2 electrodes, cathode and anode, are attached with the battery of the positive and negative terminals, and water is filled in it. Here what happens, when electric current passes, oxygen gas will go towards cathode and hydrogen will go towards anode. So what happens here and what energy is needed? So on passing electric current, 1 mole of water decomposes and it gives hydrogen and oxygen, for which it requires 286.4 kilojoule energy. So if I want to write in the terms of equation, then 286.4 kilojoule energy is required to decompose water, which decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen gas respectively. Now, when this hydrogen and oxygen is separated and if they are combined, then definitely water is obtained. But during this combination reaction, the energy which is released, it is also 286.4 kilojoule. Combination of hydrogen and oxygen gives water by releasing the 286.4 kilojoule energy. So it was considered from this that experimentally first law which says that energy is neither created nor destroyed. Here see it was used, other here is released. So it is neither created nor destroyed, but it has transformed from absorption as well as evolution. Thus, system absorbs and evolves energy. So, total energy is considered of system and surrounding, and that is conserved, right? So, practical example is a true proof of first law of thermodynamics. Now, mathematical expression of first law of thermodynamics is, suppose A here is reactant which gives product B, then internal energy of product will be capital UA and internal energy of product will be capital UB, right? We have discussed in the last video what is capital U, it is internal energy. Now during reaction heat is given, so product will be as per work done. When heat is given to the reactant, then reactant along with that heat will do the work, and altogether reactant, heat and work done by them will exist as a product. So if we want to arrange them in a mathematical way, then product is equal to reactant, heat given, work done. So internal energy of product is equal to internal energy of reactant plus heat plus work done. Now change in internal energy is because of the heat given to the system and work done on the system. So we will have to get the change. So UA will be on the left hand side, UB minus UA is equal to Q plus W. UB minus UA is the change in internal energy. So we will have to put delta. Delta is the symbol for the change. So product minus reactant. Delta U is equal to Q plus W. Here the signs have to be manipulated. This sign as given in the question. If it is heat given to the system or heat given to the surrounding, according to that positive and negative sign has to be considered. In the last video I have explained that thing. And now for irreversible isothermal change, Q is equal to minus W. Therefore Q is equal to minus P delta V. If it is reversible isothermal, then we know that there we have two types of reactions. One will be at constant volume and one will be at constant pressure. So according to that we will have two different formulas. For the volume it is minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1 and minus 2.303 nRT log P1 by P2. This in the last video we have discussed, but here in the relation of the thermodynamics law we will have to consider. If it is adiabatic change, Adiabatic change, that means heat is constant. So here it will be 0. So what happens? Internal energy difference will be directly according to the work done. And for any ideal gas which is undergoing isothermal change, then delta U is equal to 0. So delta U is equal to Q plus W, but delta U, internal energy for the isothermal change as per the ideal gas, will be 0. So Q is equal to minus W. Now when we say Q, W and delta U, then what is their function? So Q, heat and work done, are not state function, whereas delta U, internal energy difference, is state function. Now we know what is state function. State function, that means the value which depends only on the initial and final state and are not bothered from which path the reaction is carried out. So delta U is state function, but heat and work are not state function. That means they are not independent of the path. They depends on the path how the reaction is taking place, by the system or on the system, right? In the same way for the work and for the heat.